Alberta Education wants to change the way it funds our schools. Introduced in 2020, the weighted moving average was meant to provide a predictable amount of money for school boards to work with. 20% based on enrollment for the year just passed, 30% from an estimate for this year, and 50% for what's expected next year. But with so many people moving to Alberta, schools are enrolling a record number of students, and that formula is leaving them short. The Calgary Board of Education puts the dollar amount they've missed out on in the millions.
For a large board, it is not, keeping up with the pace of enrollment for us. Funding levels, if you do work it all out on a per student rate, has essentially been flat since 2017-18.
Despite early criticism of the formula, basically since it was introduced, Alberta's education minister says they chose to hold off from making changes.
Immediately, we were hit with COVID, and we experienced significant decline in enrollment. And then coming out of COVID, we had a period of stagnation and now rapid growth. So we've been able to see the model operate in a number of different scenarios. And there's, I think, been that recognition that for school divisions who are seeing some significant growth and maybe need some more faster access to financial resources, that we might need to look at a different approach.
Now, part of the model's benefit was meant for rural school boards. In many of Alberta's small towns, populations are declining, meaning less students to bring in funding.
It gives them a degree of predictability and sustainability. It gives them a longer runway to be able to readjust programming.
But some, like Rocky View schools, are having the same issues as the metro boards.
So those students are coming into the system unfunded. That is causing some problems in rural areas because you're seeing rural boards with this funding as well have to cut staff and then programs. And suddenly they might get an influx of students and they don't have the staffs or the programs to support those kids.
So Nicolaides wants to nail down a new formula for budget 2025.
We're having those conversations right now, and I'm confident we'll be able to find a model that that better suits everybody's needs.
Regardless of how Alberta Education chooses to move forward, Bolger says they need more money in public classrooms. The CBE took $2.6 million out of its reserve funds to afford its budget for this year.
Big cities are a draw for families coming, new to Canada or coming to Alberta. So just huge enrollment coming our way. And we want to meet all the needs of those students and serve them the very best we can.
Others worry that a new formula might end up giving more public dollars to private schools.
One of my concerns is that they might decide to move to something like a voucher system and just have money follow students. It's definitely harder on our rural boards, and it's going to definitely cause inequities between public education, private education, and charter schools.
Nicolaides says while the hope is to unveil a new model next year, there's no firm deadline as of yet. Jo Horwood, CBC News, Calgary.